frame. Since reliable records began in 1850. And this is from Timothy Hall, a research scientist who studies hurricanes at NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies over in New York State. So we've only had reliable records since 1850. So we can't accurately measure everything, hurricane season, seasonality type of stuff before 1850. So we, other than archaeological and anecdotal and historical record and documentation, we really don't know all that happened before 1850 weather-wise. We don't know. We weren't alive then. We don't know anybody who was alive then. We just don't know. So we're going to base everything on this global warming and man-made global climate change on records since 1850. Now, keep that in mind, folks, because there's a bunch more here. There's a lot more here on this global warming update stuff, and I am personally kind of livid that we're going to, Obama's running around trying to talk about how bad climate change is, and this is important, more important than Iran, more important than Middle East on fire, is global warming. The whole world's on fire. And I got to tell you, it's not, well, these nut jobs, they're basing all of this on stuff that they know not. Because this is only coming to light since 1850. And 1850 is not a long time ago. I mean, this is why NASA is saying this is only, something that happens once every 177 years or so. Well, let's do the simple math. This has been 2015, 175 years. That's it. Just 175 years. That's it. So how is it this only happens once 177 years? I don't know how they know that, since they've only been keeping records since 1850, which was 175 years ago, not 177. And since this began 9 years ago, it wouldn't be 175. It would be 166 years. Did I get my math right? Yes. And look, I didn't even use a calculator or a cash register to do that. Can any of you kids under the age of 30 do that now? I mean, you get so easily confused at the cash register at McDonald's and at the grocery store and things when people are giving you odd change. So I was just wondering if you guys had a hard time figuring out that math, but in your head without a calculator. But so basically this started 166. Well, it would have been 166 years since this type of trend began. So I guess you could say, I don't know where they're getting the extra 2 years, because it would take us back to 1848. But let's just go with it. 177 years, because that's all the data they have, though. So they don't know if this happens more often, or if it did happen more often in the past, because there's no accurate or reliable records before 1850. So all they can do is speculate. Speculate. In some cases, they have to make up the data. In some cases, they leave it blank and say, well, it doesn't really matter. No, that data doesn't really matter. We know what's happening. But when they tell us that they know what's happening, they got it wrong. Well, planet's warming up. Well, we're going to have a lot more major, more deadly hurricanes than ever before because man-made global warming and climate change is affecting the weather pattern. And hurricanes are going to get more frequent and more intense. We're going to see new categories of hurricane. We're going to see a lot more category 4 and 5, and we're going to have to create a new category 6, because they're going to get so strong. And we get out here, and now we're told, well, geez, this is a string of years that only comes around once every 177 years. So I guess in 177 years from now, we're going to have another string of 9 years when the United States mainland doesn't get hit by a hurricane. And this is what they're telling you. So in 177 years, every 175, 177, 180 years, we're going to have a stretch of 9 or 10 years where no major hurricane above a Category 3, Cat 3, is going to hit the mainland of the United States. So, in other words, they're saying this is a pattern. Has nothing to do with mankind. This is just a pattern. Do you understand that, folks? This only happens, NASA says this only happens once every 177 years or so, which means it's a pattern. In other words, our climate has cycles. It has patterns. Goes up and down throughout the millennium. It has patterns, cycles. So you got to ask, well, hey, NASA, if the planet has cycles in its climate and weather, could it be that, when you thought that the Earth was rising in temperature and heat, that it was just a cycle that the planet was going through? Because, now we know that there hasn't been any warming for a very long time. And you have to ask, if this hasn't happened in a very long time and the planet isn't heating up, then what is all of this about? What is all this man-made global warming crap about? What is all of this, man-caused natural disasters and man-caused global climate change? What is all of this really about? Why is it really about saving the planet if the planet really doesn't need saving? Seriously, think about it. Is it really about saving the planet if the planet does not need saving? Well, no, it's not about saving the planet, especially when the planet doesn't need saving. What it is about, and here is some number, and I've always said this, if you've listened to the show for any length of time, then I have said this. It's about control and it's about the money. And you might say, well, Rod, especially if you're a liberal out there listening, or if you're a centrist and you believe in global climate change, you're probably saying, well, you got to prove it, Rod. Come on. Well, what do you mean it's all about control and money? Money? You think everything's about money? It's not about money. Money is, that's for people who have money to worry about doing things with money. This is about the planet, Rod. It's about everybody. Well, let me tell you. Leadership.ng News has a story that backs up what I have been saying all along. UN, as in United Nations, urges government to accelerate contributions to Green Climate Fund. No, wait a minute. We haven't had a major... there has been no increase in major hurricane at all, as was predicted. And there hasn't been such an increase that one has not hit or made landfall in the United States mainland in 9 years. We haven't had a major hurricane in 9 years. There has not been a sudden increase in hurricanes during the hurricane season down around Hurricane Alley. There hasn't. So what is this really all about? Well, it's about money. Money, money, money. Now, the Green Climate Fund, on a Sunday in Seoul, at the end of its conference, that as of April 30th, 2015, the fund has signed $4 billion in contributors. $4 billion. Now, Hela, H-E-L-A, Chukaruhu, C-A, now pay attention to this one, C-H-E-I-K-H-R-O-U-H-O-U, the executive director of the Green Climate Fund, said that this represented 42% of the amount that was committed during the fund's initial pledging conference back in 2014. So they're seeking, it's $4 billion in a UN fund. They're seeking money. That's what, all of this global warming nonsense is all about. It's about money. Money. And control. Yeah, government control, obviously. But it's mostly about money. Because whoever has the money has the control. Correct? Yes, correct. Of course it's correct, because I said it. And I'm not wrong, so it has to be correct. Now, she said the fund at its conference in Berlin in November 2014 authorized allocation of resources once over 50% of the total amount pledged. The Green Climate Fund's high-level pledging conference has been made available in order to reach the $4.7 billion target. They have a target goal of getting $4.7 billion from the world's citizens via these governments through the UN. Now, she noted that contributing governments have agreed to this threshold. Well, yeah, if you have a government that's just going to ignore fact that there is no global warming or man-made global climate change, look, the UN and this body at the UN, the Green Climate Fund, they want their money because, hey, they need it. They need the money in order to keep paying these people to do this kind of stuff. They got to keep paying people to say that we're just lucky that we haven't had a hurricane over the last 9 years, a major hurricane to make landfall of the United States. We had a couple that have skirted the East Coast. They kind of battered the East Coast. They've taken a trek up north, and maybe they've taken, put Bermuda on notice. That kind of stuff. No, but they're not. They're not talking about actually doing anything. They just want the money. Give us that $4.7 billion that you promised us. So says the UN. We need that $4 billion that you promised us. Come on, can't you give us that $4 billion that you promised us, please? Because it's all about the money, folks. I've told you this time and time again. This is not about actually doing anything to save the planet, because the planet really doesn't need saving from mankind. The planet is, Mother Nature is going to do what Mother Nature is going to do. Hey, what? She's already said, you know what? I'm just kind of bored with sending major hurricanes to the United States because, they always seem to clean up pretty fast. I know there was that Katrina thing that wasn't so fast, but usually when they get major hurricanes, things get cleaned up pretty fast. And all I'm doing sometimes is to help the government over there to catch some unscrupulous builders and home inspectors and building inspectors. Because I blow stuff over, they come and take a look and see why stuff got blown over so easy, and find out that people, contractors are cutting corners, and people are going to have to be fined and possibly even jailed. But other than that, there's no need. There isn't any need. So, Mother Nature's like, that I'm just kind of bored. I'm not going to send you any hurricanes. But when I do, man, you're going to notice it. But when she does, I can guarantee you they're all going to be running around saying, see, we told you it's man-made global climate change because Mother Nature decided that now it was time to send more hurricanes after a 9-year drought.